Being in a group with people that experience the same as myself, moving on from a bad relationship to a new relationship. I just basically talk to other people, you know, who suffer.
And I think a lot of people who've experienced mental health problems are really creative people. So I think like creative activities, and it gets them together to get companionship, to get out of the house, away from being isolated. I love it. Gives me a buzz. Being involved with like art, and then it's just like going around to like all the galleries, museums.
I think working together, having somewhere you can go, somewhere we maybe can be pushed, not pushed, but sort of influenced maybe to go to a service that may boost your confidence and stop you feeling so isolated. I did a course around positive progress, and it was to build confidence and to give you coping strategies around your mental health. So I think that they're important to have something that, you know, balances with your creative side. Maybe you can do your arts and your crafts, but then to do something that actually works with your mental health as well, something that can help you keep on track and stop you slipping back, regressing into a mental state.
Peer support is dead important because other people have actually got some awareness of what you're going through because they've been there themselves. So in terms of like the mental health consortium, you feel safe, you're able to discuss things that are quite personal, and also you know that you're not going to be judged. You also know that you can make a difference in the way that service is delivered, so you feel like you have some power to shape those services.
The CPN advised me to come to Mary Seacole because they have activities that keep me occupied during the day. They also have legal services, and if you have any problems, they attach a support worker to you. I don't think mental health is accepted within faith groups like the mosque or the churches. They look at people with mental health conditions and say, just pull yourself together, and it really doesn't work. I don't think it works. You keep it to yourself, your problems.
I think people who have mental illness, I think they need to be more open about it. Because I think with mental illness, a lot of people say, oh, shame away, and they have got mental illness, hide it. So I think the people who do open up and do talk about the mental health, it opens it up to other people, and eventually, hopefully, it'll be, you know, a domino effect of this person talks about it, then this person talks about it, and eventually it will become a common subject that isn't to be shamed.
Well, a lot of help in the community, because there's been a stigma on mental health for years, and it's only just recently that people are understanding about mental health. You know, they've got to understand what the person feels who does suffer.
I've been trying to get a job for the last 10 years, but I've been unsuccessful. The stigma of mental health has stuck with me, and even though I've got some qualifications to do ICT, which is IT work, and firefighting work, I'm unable to compete in today's market.
Have you been supported in the transition from being in the homeless hostel, going into a house, sorting all the paperwork out, and then being given advice on services and job clubs or things that were going on in the community? It may have been able to prevent me from allowing that illness to become so deep set.
Knowledge. I think if you know what, if you could say to yourself, I know what's wrong with me, you're more likely to say, okay, well, I know what's wrong with me, and I know these are the steps I need to take. So I think knowledge is one of the biggest areas.
I do think we need more places that are advertised and cater for people in terms of giving practical advice, to be able to give advice on benefits, on debt. I recently went to an event at St George's Hall where there were Local Solutions had a stall, and they're going to help me with some debt that I've got into. But if you don't know where to turn, and if you're feeling quite depressed yourself, you're not going to be able to actively seek out these places. And if you don't know what's available, then there's just no way of finding out really, or having the impetus to do that.
Debts, worrying about my family, drink, drugs, having people knocking at my door, for you know, counsellors as well for, you know, debts, people that have had loan sharks as well.
Quite a lot of the time the doctors are just giving medication out, and I don't think medication's totally the answer. And I also think even like at the hospital, you know, like they have a crisis team. Like when I left hospital, I was given phone numbers to phone if I was in a crisis, which were like Calm and the Samaritans and the crisis team number. But you phone the crisis team and nobody answers the phone. It's on an answer machine. There's nobody there to speak to, and it's like you might just need someone to talk to, because then they say they're not there for an emotional distress, but then what is like, isn't that a mental health?
I think medication should be a last resort. Me personally, I want to get off my medication. You know, it's got an addictive quality to it. If you stop taking it, you'd have withdrawal symptoms, and that's the conundrum I'm in at the moment, is where I want to get off the medication, but I don't want to go through the withdrawal side effects at the same time, and even just easing off so that I still feel the difference. So I think with medication, all other options should be chosen beforehand. You know, if you're going to try the counselling, if you're going to try day centres, they should all be ahead of medication. Medication should always be a last resort.
I know that when people exercise, that it releases endorphins. There's loads of things that can be useful in terms of physical activity. You can get out of the house, you can have relationships with other people that you're working out with, but when you are depressed, it's quite hard to motivate yourself to do those things.
When things are hard and you're trying to get back on your feet, I don't think sport would be the right method to start off. It's a slowly thing with people with mental health. You can't just go into a gym and train to the highest levels. Moderate walking and basic exercises are required to strengthen the mind. But mental health people can't really go down the line and do a lot.
For me, it was losing weight, going to the gym. That I lost quite a lot of frustration. I don't know, just making myself active instead of sitting at home moping around. Because I think by doing that, moping around makes you more depressed. You know, we need to get out there and start basically doing stuff for ourselves. Like me going to the gym, I lost, you know, a lot of weight. I felt good in myself, whereas before I didn't. I was disgusted with my own body, and that made me more depressed than what I was. But now I'm happy with the way I look and within myself.
I think physical fitness is a must. I lack physical fitness at the moment, but that's due to medical issues that I've got. I've got like issues with my legs and my joints. But I used to be a big avid lover of fitness and all the rest of it, and I used to have, you know, I used to go in the gym miserable and I'd come out with a big smile on my face with all the endorphins going. But I think one of the big hindrances with exercise is the medication, because it has a top-line effect where it puts the weight on, so you feel more miserable and you'll eat a bit more, so then the weight keeps piling on because of the medication. saying my influence, I went from being 13 stone to 23 stone within 6 months because of the medication.
I think exercise, I think something around diet and eating, because I think that is really important for your mental health, having a well-balanced diet. I think when you are mentally unwell, you can go days where you haven't eaten a proper meal, and I think that has an impact on your mental health. It's like exercise, just meeting, getting out of the house and being with people and sorting out the basic issues that are causing you stress and problems before putting you on medication and then just leaving you to it type thing.
I suppose the likes of coffee mornings are useful. Being able to relate to other people and to spend time with other people, because it can be very isolating when you have a mental health problem. And to know that there's somewhere safe that you can go is really important. I had my own issues with domestic violence, and that can, as well as being a horrible way to have to live, it impacts on your mental health, and it makes you feel powerless and unable to really connect with society. It just cuts you off completely. But having those strong relationships that I did have, which were detrimentally impacted by the relationship I had, they were strong enough to survive, so I had people who could, support me to get out of that.
So I'm currently creating a magazine for mental health awareness, and it will also incorporate organisations that don't have the funding to advertise their services, but by me advertising for them for free in the magazine, it will give them a chance to bring in new service users, and it will also give service users a chance to see what's out there more.
More groups for male and female, and for people to understand what it's like for myself and thousands of people out there, what we feel every day, and I think your counsellors, I think they should be more understanding than what they basically are. Well, it's called self-help, helping yourself, helping others, talking about what's happened in your past, talking about how we can make the future more happy for myself and the people in the group, going out and doing things. Art for one, radio, self-expression groups, communicating groups, education.
Advice and direction in life, and tell us what opportunities they've got out there to empower them. Being in a group helps you befriend other people who've been in similar situations and have an understanding of where you're coming from, and you sort of give each other advice and support, and then you sort of look forward to meeting the people again because you become friends.